Hey everybody, it's Chris Eads, Wootini from GayGamer.net, here with another weekly video podcast. I continue to play great mini-games. Unfortunately, they're all the same that I have been playing. First, I'm still playing Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. It's going to take me a while before I can actually review it for the site, because it's taking a while to unlock all of the minigames, and I feel like I want to unlock all the minigames so that I can give an opinion on the entire game, but it's taking a while because in order to unlock the minigames you have to play the main game to earn the cards so that you can then the tickets, so that you can unlock things with the tickets, and unfortunately the main game is just not that compelling to play. It's very repetitive. It takes like an hour to an hour and a half depending on how many players are playing it. So like you sit down and it's you can't just play it for like 10 minutes. I mean, I guess you can set time limits, so you could say, well, I'm just going to play for 15 or 20 minutes or whatever, but it's a bit of a slog, and so it's a little slow going. Obviously, well, no, because even if Nintendo had given me a review copy like a couple weeks before release date, it would have been difficult. Although, I would have probably made more of an effort to play it more often to get it so that my review would go up closer to release date. But since this is just my copy that I bought and I'm just offering up a random opinion about it because it's Animal Crossing, I'm taking my time. Sorry. So, you're going to wait for that. Of course, if you've been watching my podcast here, you know that I'm not entirely thrilled by it, and that's coming from a hardcore Animal Crossing fan. I love anything Animal Crossing, which I think is why this game is so disappointing to me, because it shouldn't be so repetitive and it should be a little more fun. Anyway, moving along, I had a friend over and we played Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival, but before that, I stressed him out by seeing if he could get past that area of platforming in Typoman that was giving me an aneurysm. My husband couldn't get past it either. He was able to get... He actually was able to get to where we got stuck, and then after like another half a dozen tries, actually finish that area. So I could finish that was the ending of Chapter 2. That was your boss, I guess. The wicked hard platforming. And then I went on to Chapter 3. Turns out there's only 3 chapters in the whole game, so that was the end of the game. So I did make it to the end boss, which, as expected, was insane. So I got frustrated very early, and I said, you know what? That's good enough for me. I feel like I've experienced the whole game, and I went and watched the ending on YouTube so that I could see what it was that I was going to have to do, and I was like, no, that was never going to happen. And then watched the ending, so I feel like I've experienced the whole game, even if my skills were not strong enough to let me do the whole thing. So, now that that's completed, I look for a review later this week on GayGamer.net. Also look for a review of Episode 3 of Minecraft Story Mode, which, unfortunately, once again, I love the Telltale thing. I love the Telltale games, but I worry that they're actually, and I love that they're producing so many of them. You've got Game of Thrones, there was The Walking Dead, there was The Wolf Among Us, and they seem to keep it going, so there's like 2 going at any time. They've just finished Game of Thrones, and they're going to wrap up, they're just past the halfway point on Minecraft Story Mode. But the thing is I feel like they're producing too much, and now I find the games are buggier. Like back when it was just The Walking Dead, and it was awesome, I feel like the first season of The Walking Dead was pretty solid. Although, I feel like there was a really bad glitch, like, on the final episode that, like, completely screwed me. Yeah, that was season 1. It was bad. It kept trying to start me at the beginning of the first episode, and I'm like, no, I've played the other episodes, let me finish my game. And I had to actually wait for them to figure out the bug and release a patch, and then I was able to finish my game, without having to play through the whole thing again. But now, with Minecraft Story Mode Episode 3, I went to play it, and it was like, are you sure you want to start this without finishing Episode 2? We'll have to randomly generate decisions for you. And I'm like, I finished Episode 2, like, last month. What are you talking about? And I went back, and it turns out somehow my save just didn't take, I guess. And I had to basically play the back half of Episode 2, which was sort of annoying. And I was just like, come on. Then I could finally play Episode 3. And of course, I'm playing Episode 3 for like a good half hour, 45 minutes, and not getting any achievements. The first achievement I got was for finally completing chapter, I think it was chapter 4 or chapter 5. Like the first 3 chapters I finished and didn't get an achievement for. So it's a good thing that I don't actually care about achievements. Like, I'm not an achievement whore. Like, I don't care about getting the big high achievement score. It's not a big deal to me. The only time that it bothers me is in a game like this where it's clearly the end of a scene and it feels like a chapter break and the next scene starts and I'm like, okay, that was clearly the end of a chapter. Why didn't I get an achievement for that? Where's my 30 points? Or what, 20 points or whatever? Then I notice it and it irks me. And then on the old home screen, thankfully the new Xbox home screen doesn't do this, but the old one, if I would look over at my friends, I would see a chart of who's got the highest gamer score, like who got the most achievements so far this month or whatever, and I'd be down at the bottom because, you know, I'm not a big achievement person and I don't play that many games to get all the achievements, and there's a couple of my friends who are like way up on top because they're getting like hundreds and hundreds of achievements, and I'm just like, aw, and then I feel a little bit like I'm slacking. But those are the only times when I actually notice achievement points. Otherwise, I don't care. And like occasionally there's like a weird achievement that I might try to get, but mostly I just play a game the way I want to play it, and if I get an achievement for doing something, then I get an achievement. And I get the points, and then I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But I would appreciate it if the games would stop being so buggy and like erasing saves and actually giving out the achievements, because the same thing happened with Game of Thrones as well, where like I didn't get achievements for finishing chapters for some reason. Like, I think the last episode of Game of Thrones I like got like every other chapter achievement for some reason. I don't know. And I'm also playing Tomb Raider, where I feel like I'm heading for the end of the game right now. Like, I'm heading into the final area. So I actually decided I'm not going to go in the final area yet. I'm going to double back and go through the areas and collect what I missed now that I have all the items, all the tools that I can use to get to all of the other items. But it turns out that some of them are trickier to get than others, and I've gone through tombs and I'm still missing things, and I'm like, wait, where was that? I couldn't find it. And I'm starting to get to the point where it's getting a little repetitive, and when it gets too bad, then I'm going to go back and do some more story, because I don't want to not enjoy the game. And by just slogging around trying to collect things and trying to figure out where that hidden chest is and stuff, that can start to be a slog, and it makes the game less fun. So, if that starts to happen, I'll just go back and finish the story mode. And I can finish the story mode. I could do a little more story mode, then go back, or I could just finish the story and then feel good about myself, and then maybe someday go back and get the 100%. Because I don't even know if it's worth the effort of going back to collect all the stuff. I mean, like, right now I kind of want to go back and collect some stuff just so I can get, like, upgrade my weapons and stuff like that, you know. It's less about, like, getting the 100% achievement at this point, because I don't even know if I can, because there's that earlier area that I did not 100% and I can't get to in story mode, so I don't know if doing it outside of story mode will actually still count towards the 100%. we'll find out, I guess. If you happen to have played Tomb Raider and you know if I can get back to that initial tomb and it'll count, let me know in the comments here on YouTube or here on gategamer.net, wherever you might be watching this. I also kind of want to finish Tomb Raider Story because in December they're giving Thief for free on Xbox Live Games with Gold for the Xbox One, and that's kind of cool. And I played a demo of it at Comic-Con or PAX? Comic-Con, I think, years ago, and it's kind of up my alley because it's like just collecting and stealing things, and so it's just like taking in everything that's not nailed down. But then there's also stealth, which I'm not that big of a fan of because it gets frustrating sometimes. So Thief is exactly the kind of game that's perfect for free with Games with Gold or PlayStation Plus, whichever you have. It's one of those perfect free games where you were intrigued by it, but you weren't going to spend $60 on it. Now it's free, give it a shot. Even if you only play it for a week, you've gotten your money's worth, so there you go. So, I may or may not be talking about that next week, or I may just be talking about Tomb Raider next week. I don't know what else I'll be talking about next week. Why don't you come back next week, and we'll all find out together. Bye!